Two bros chilling in the hot tub.
You the twos and we the ones? Well, you are the biggest two of them all, my dog. That's what you are. You are a giant number two.
Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to a brand new episode of the Two Bros Podcast. I am Bryce, and I'm joined along by.
Yo, I'm Matt. I'm the other brother.
So I don't know if you can hear, but my voice is not the greatest. I lost my voice, and I'm just getting it back. So bear with us today. But we have a lot of stuff planned for you today. We're going to talk football. We're going to talk week 4. And we are going to talk week 3. So let's hop right on into the news. The first news is Najee Harris is out for the year with an Achilles tear. What does this do for the Chargers?
So I think this does hurt them a little bit. We're noticing that Omarion Hampton's still a little raw as a running back. I would not be surprised if you see them grab one of the available running backs. There's kind of a number of names that are out there.
Check it. Gus Edwards.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if you see them bring a veteran running back in just to keep Omarion Hampton, centered. I don't think this really brings them down as a contender. I don't think Najee Harris was that to them. Right now, their offense really revolves around Justin Herbert. So I do not foresee this being a major issue for them.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Their running game, I said it from week 1 after their Chiefs game, that if they can figure out their running game, they're going to be the best team in the AFC. And they still haven't done it, but they've looked incredible. Next one involves another running back. James Conner is out for the year with an ankle injury. And what does this mean for the Cardinals?
The Cardinals, this affects them a lot more than the Chargers were affected. James Conner was the number one guy there. He has been for years. They gave him an extension a little while ago. He's a very good running back, serviceable.
Super underrated.
Very underrated. But I think this opens up the ability for Trey Benson, someone people have been kind of looking at as the potential running back for the future for them anyways. So this is going to hurt their chances to be real, genuine playoff contenders, but this helps their future out, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I like Amari DiMercato there. He's pretty good too. He's going to be a good backup, but I do think Trey Benson, it's his time to actually step in and be the future now. So next we have.
Since your throat is killing you, why don't I read these off to give you a little bit of a breather? Right. Joey Bosa tore his ACL and is out for the year.
I wrote that wrong.
Thank
it's
you.
Nick Bosa.
Nick Bosa tore his ACL and is out for the year. Bryce, how do you think that's going to affect the 49ers?
It's not going to affect them like the Brock Purdy thing. They're obviously 3-0 right now without Brock Purdy for 2 of the games, but this is a guy who is their unquestioned best defensive player, not named Fred Warner, and this is huge for them to have now put the pressure on Michael Williams, who is a rookie who still has a lot to prove, and this was a way for Michael Williams to really get acclimated to the NFL without being the focal point, and now he's going to have to be the focal point. So
I think this opens up for a team who is really struggling like Miami to move off of one of their guys. I would not be surprised if we saw a Bradley Chubb or a Jalen Phillips sent out. Or if you just see the Niners trying to make moves for any available rushers. This does really affect them. Their defense is probably the only reason they're really staying in games this year. They're playing so well. It's giving Mac Jones the ability to be the player he was when he was in New England. But I genuinely do worry about this team without their star player.
Yeah.
All right. So the Giants decided to go ahead and bench Russell Wilson and give Jackson Dart the start. Bryce, what do you think this looks like for the Giants?
I feel so bad for Jackson Dart that his first start in the NFL comes against the Chargers. And I get the Chargers don't have Khalil Mack, but they have been incredible without Khalil Mack still. So they're 3-0 for a reason.
I actually feel really bad for him, but I will be at that game. So I'm excited to see the debut of Jackson Dart. I have been one of the people who always thought Jackson Dart has the ability to be a very good quarterback in this league. I think he's going to step up. I just do think he's getting thrown to the fire against this crazy defense. Now, what I do think is that this makes Russell Wilson expendable. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see him sent off to a Cincinnati Bengals, to a Minnesota Vikings, or to a 49ers in case, of long-term injury. Bryce,
Maybe
also
Miami
next
too.
up, Miami. Man, they're gonna run with Tua because they have to after paying him so much. Next up, Atlanta is gonna continue to run with Michael Penix over Kirk Cousins after Penix struggled last week. Bryce, what do you think? Is that a good idea or a bad idea for Atlanta?
I think this is the best move possible. You drafted him what, 8 overall last year?
Yeah.
So you give him all the chances to play. And this Kirk Cousins is a nice safety blanket for them to have. But let's be honest, Michael Penix Jr. is their future quarterback. So we need to see him play.
I mean, he's practically a rookie. He did not play. He played what, 2 or 3 games
I
last
think he
year?
played 3 games last year.
He really barely played it all last year. You got to wonder if them pulling him out last game was just so he didn't kind of keep hurting his stats even more. I think they knew
I
they weren't
think
going to win.
so.
I think they wanted to keep his confidence up. If you see him throwing more interceptions, his confidence is going to drop big time. This is not a big deal. He's young. He's going to have these struggles. Look at what Caleb Williams did last week. We looked at him in the first 2 weeks of the year and said he's a bust, and then he goes against a formidable Dallas defense and looks outstanding. So I think let's pump the brakes, give Penix his chance. He's going to be just fine. Finally, on our news, Tyrod Taylor played very well in relief of Justin Fields. Bryce, do you think there's any kind of QB controversy going on with the Jets?
I don't think yet. I don't think there is yet. I think it was really only one complete game that we saw to Justin Fields, and the one complete game we saw, he looked really good. So I think we need to pump the brakes. However, Tyrod is a guy who, if they need him to step in, like he had to, he can manage the offense and keep teams in games to win.
I think people forget that Tyrod Taylor is the person who led the Bills to break their playoff drought.
Yeah.
Um, Tyrod Taylor is always going to be a good player, but he's always the guy who kind of makes way for the next generation. We saw him do it for Justin Herbert. We saw him do it with Baker Mayfield. He is a great bridge quarterback, but that's all he's meant to be. Right now, you got the young guy Fields. If he's ready to play, you play him. That is all of our news. We're going to move into week 3 takeaways. And the game we're starting with is one that I am fully upset about. That team right here, the Green Bay Packers went ahead and faced off against the Cleveland Browns and lost 13-10. My first takeaway, and I put a TikTok out about this, but I'm going to say it again. I think people need to breathe. This was a trap game. The Browns have an insane defense. For us to sit back and act like the Packers are not a good team, it's crazy. I honestly hate that team right next to them faces Cleveland this week. What happens if Cleveland beats them too? This is a fantastic team in Green Bay that just so happened to lose a game. They played badly. It happens. Jordan Love needs to really buckle down on bad timing interceptions, and their offensive line looked atrocious. And if they held their own and they didn't get that kick blocked, they won the game.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I think this is a game that we do need to calm down for sure, because as you said, it's a trap game, and there are quite a few trap games this week that we're going to talk about.
Oh, we are.
And yeah, but yeah, no, I think breathe, pump the brakes just a little tiny bit
So
and
for this
breathe.
next game, it's a team you have to wonder if they're in the same spot as last year. Minnesota versus Cincinnati. For me, my first takeaway is Carson Wentz looked very formidable in that offense. He looked like Carson Wentz before he destroyed his knee. And you have to wonder if that's oh my gosh,
Kevin O'Connell.
Kevin O'Connell, or if that's Carson Wentz. Um, Sam Darnold looked amazing in this offense last year. JJ McCarthy looked rough, but Carson Wentz looked great. The question is it that JJ McCarthy's a young guy and these are veterans, or is it just JJ McCarthy's not a good quarterback? And for me, I'm starting to lean towards JJ McCarthy might not be a very good quarterback. Cincinnati
Yeah.
knew they were going to get destroyed. I mean, they were missing Joe Burrow. Jake Browning is not the answer. They need to pick somebody up.
I mean, let's be honest. Carson Wentz didn't have to do much because
I
Jake Browning
mean,
threw 3
yeah,
interceptions with 2
I
pick
had the
sixes
Vikings defense in
and a fumble intercept, and they fumbled for a fumble 6.
yeah, I had the Vikings defense in fantasy. They gave me 35 points.
That's
Bryce,
wild.
what is your takeaway from this game?
well, you know my take. I don't think JJ McCarthy is all that good. So I do think that another quarterback coming in and immediately playing better than they've looked in either of their first two games says a whole lot about JJ McCarthy because Kevin O'Connell is a guy who you can put any quarterback in and they're going to succeed. And you have Carson Wentz in the one game. He looked incredible. You have Sam Darnold all last year. You have Kirk Cousins under Kevin O'Connell, who all looked incredible. And you have J.J. McCarthy, who comes in and looks
Has one good quarter.
mediocre at best. One good quarter in two games. You have to start to wonder, did they draft him 2 rounds too high? And I think
Or
the
did they
answer is
draft the
yes.
wrong guy?
Well, he was the last quarterback. No, wait, Bo Nix was taken right after the quarterback after him. That's right.
But next game was, in my opinion, the best game of the week. Actually, no, it's not the best game of the week because the last game we're talking about is the best game of the week. But
Yeah.
the Rams versus the Eagles. Bryce, what's your take on this game?
Jalen Hurts silenced all the haters who said he could not pass. And what did they do? They went down big time. He passed, and what do you know? They won the game.
He threw the ball
This
really.
is why when people say Jalen Hurts is not a top five quarterback, you have to look at them and point out this game as one of the many examples that Jalen Hurts has as a passer to tell them that they don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, it's interesting to me that first off, let's talk about how amazing this Rams defense is in general. Um Los Angeles is a great team, but LA has two outstanding teams with them right
Yeah,
now.
two
The
incredible defenses.
Rams should have won that game. If you don't block that field goal, if you don't have that outstanding block at the end, they win that game. This is just two juggernauts who we could see in the NFC Championship game easily. Like
Yeah.
this is gonna be a matchup we might see again in the playoffs. I there's the only takeaway out of this is those are two of the best teams in the NFC. It's hard to argue that it's hard to argue teams that might be better than them besides the two teams that are right next to each other right here.
Yeah, maybe Tampa,
Tampa is
maybe.
up there as well. Tampa has Philly this week, which we'll talk about later
Yeah,
on.
the NFC is going to be a bloodbath this
The
year.
NFC, that's a major takeaway. The NFC, whoever comes out of the NFC, in my opinion, wins the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think so. The
Bryce,
NFC Championship is really the Super Bowl.
Bryce. So this is a great game for you to talk about first. Indianapolis versus Tennessee.
Cam Ward had his first, I think you could say, bad game. This was not a good game, and you could tell that Cam Ward was running all over the place. He wasn't able to get his guys the ball. Calvin Ridley again needs to learn how to catch the ball because he can't. They need somebody else other than Cam Ward to do something because it can't be Cam Ward all by himself. Tony Pollard has got to do something. Chigsakonko has got to be more consistent. You think they're regretting the AJ Brown trade already?
They've been regretting that. I think my biggest takeaway for this game, outside the fact that like Daniel Jones is looking like a legitimate starting quarterback, um, is the fact that Tennessee's offense is just completely disgusting. Like it to me, this comes down to yeah, Calvin Ridley can't catch the ball. You
Brian Callahan's a
Traylon Burks.
terrible head
You
coach.
released Traylon Burks before the season because he was just so bad. Uh, what has Tyler Boyd done for you? Um,
Well, he's not there anymore. It's Tyler Lockett.
I'm sorry, my bad, Tyler Lockett. What has Tyler Lockett done for you? What are you doing with the running backs? Like there has to be something. You have to make a move for a Jerome Ford. You have to do something and get a viable running back on this team. If you're it fine, trade for Cam Scatterbo. He's obviously not going to play as much because Devin Singletary is pretty much the guy behind Tyrone Tracy there. It comes down to
Trade for Devin Singletary. He's the odd man out there.
it, what I've been reading is Devin Singletary is the guy this week. They're running with him as the number one because of the experience. That's what
The
I've been
hell are
reading.
the Giants doing?
But you have to wonder when is their offense going to figure it out? Their defense looks outstanding. Like this defense is so good, and they're being held back by a completely inept offense and an awful head coach. Bryce, another
That's fair.
game you're going to have a lot of fun talking about is Carolina versus Atlanta. What a shutout. I mean, you know what's crazy? In my opinion, this game, this was the best game of their season, and Bryce Young had to do nothing. He had himself
Yeah.
a rushing touchdown. Chuba Hubbard had a good rushing touchdown. He barely even threw
Hit
for
a passing
100.
touchdown.
Yeah, I don't even think
He
he
threw
threw
for
100.
164. Yeah, I did.
He barely
Oh wait, you're right. He went 16 for one. He's 16 for 24 for 164. That's right.
he did have
And
a
a
passing
rushing
touchdown.
touchdown.
The rushing, I would say he didn't have a passing touchdown, I don't think, but he
That's
didn't need
right.
to. This
He didn't.
defense was so good. And yes, of course, this comes down to Atlanta looked awful, but do not count out Carolina as a team you might not want to face. They're not going to make any waves. They're not making the playoffs this year, but they're going to be another team, like I said, like the Jets, who you don't want to face, who are going to give you a hard time. Bryce,
And my thing is, I think it's about time for all the Carolina haters to shut up because Bryce Young has officially arrived. He has. And I get he didn't have to do much, but Bryce Young didn't
I'm going to look up his
lose the game.
stats.
He didn't lose the game. And he also he had the easiest job, which ends up being the hardest job too. You just have to manage the game, which sometimes that is hard to do, especially in a situation like this where you don't have to do much. It's very easy for young quarterbacks to get zealous and think, "Oh, I need to make a play." Bryce Young just took care of the ball, did what he needed to do to keep the Panthers in the get a win,
He
and he
only took
did.
one sack the entire game.
Yeah, that offensive line's incredible. This team is getting healthier. We're going to see Jalen Coker soon. He's already starting to be. He's considered week to week now. He's not. He's still in the IR, but he's considered week to week, which means he could be back next week after this next game. So they're gonna get healthier. I like Bryson Tremaine. I think he's a good option right now. But yeah, no, this team, Carolina haters can finally shut up.
So, a question for you on this. Where does Xavier Legette fit in all of this? I mean, Ted McMillan is clearly their guy. When Jalen Coker comes back, he's probably their slot. Where does Xavier Legette fit?
He
If he
needs to
doesn't,
go.
do you think they trade him?
He needs to go. He's not good.
Really?
Considering they traded up back into the first round last year to get him, and through 3 games, he has 10 receiving yards,
Really?
is wild. He didn't play last week, so he's still stuck at 10, but he has 10 receiving yards for the first 2 weeks. This
I
was a first round receiver in 2024. You cannot be averaging 5 receiving yards a game as a
Yeah, I'm not
first
gonna
round
lie. I
receiver.
made the mistake of taking him in fantasy.
Yeah, I did too. But it sucks that Jatavion Sanders is hurt. But
Yeah.
they have Tommy Tremble. So they'll be okay.
All right, Bryce. Our next game we're going to be talking about is Chicago versus Dallas. Bryce, I'll start us off on this one. Caleb Williams had a very nice game, and I hate complimenting Chicago, but he looked great. You know, this
He did.
Dallas defense, in my opinion, is
Uh,
much more underrated than people give them credit for. They're no slouches. So nothing but credit for Caleb Williams. Their run game looked good.
yeah.
The receivers had a great game. Romo Dunze is continuing to develop. And their defense
Yeah.
also looked very good, even without Jalen Johnson. Like they held their own. Now, a lot of it does have to do with the injury to CeeDee Lamb. I will say losing the best player on a team does hurt them, but I mean, no matter what, Chicago was winning that game.
Yeah. Yeah. Dallas looked like they didn't want to be there at all. They didn't. They just looked sluggish the entire game. They were struggling to get out of the gate. And in the NFL, if you struggle to get out of the gate against an offense who can't be stopped, you're screwed. And it just goes to show when Dak threw that interception and then they benched him for Joe Milton, and then Joe Milton threw the interception that they didn't clearly have any effort.
They
They
didn't.
overlooked Chicago, and you could tell 100%.
All right, Bryce. Finally, the game of the week: Detroit versus Baltimore. Wow, what a game!
Baltimore needs to learn how to hold on to leads.
Yeah, I agree.
They
Baltimore makes me nervous this week, to be
their
honest.
defense is bad. Their defense is also really bad this year. It is. And that's been Baltimore's strong suit their entire franchise history. And it's just
Yeah.
bad. Their defense is bad.
Their defense makes me wonder if they're going to be genuine contenders this year. Lamar Jackson is playing out of his mind. Mark Andrews is coming back to form. Derrick Henry needs to hold on to the ball. This is three fumbles already. No, so
Two.
it was three.
Oh,
He has three on the season already. Um, Outside of last week, I mean, they looked completely beatable. I get it. You faced two of the best teams in the league and lost to them, the Bills and the Lions. But these are games you have to win. It's not like this was like complete blowouts. These were close games that they didn't keep themselves in, and it wasn't their offense's fault.
no, it
The,
wasn't. It
the
was their
Ravens
defense.
connected on like all their passes. Lamar Jackson was looking outstanding. I think he didn't he like what had one incompletion up until the third or fourth quarter, I
I
believe
think
it
so.
was.
Yeah. I think so.
He looked amazing. It's just their defense is selling right now.
You mean to tell me that the Ravens have two games in which they put up at least 30 points and
Both.
they lose 41-40 and they lose 38-30? That's incredible. That's wild to me.
All right, Bryce, we're going to move on to our week four predictions right now. So I'm going to start us
Alrighty.
off. Seahawks at the Cardinals. Since you're pulling
Hold
yourself up,
on.
I'll go ahead and I'll let you know. I think the Seahawks are going to take this 33 to 21.
Hold on. I do want to
Ooh, Bryce is
where is
getting
it?
something I wasn't ready for.
Yeah, I what's it called? I want to go back because I want to do the records for last week.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Bryce
So last week I went 12 and
had a
4.
bad game, had a bad week.
Last week you went 6 and 10, meaning my record through 3 weeks is 32 and 16, and yours is 25 and 23. So you need a huge week, and I need to seriously stumble if
I
you
mean,
want to
it's
get back
only
in
week
this.
four. It's only
That's
week.
true. There are still 13 weeks left. So
But Bryce, Seahawks at Cardinals, I'm going to go with the Seahawks 33-21.
I'm going with Seattle 21 and 9. I don't think Arizona is good at all.
I think Arizona's good, but I think the Seahawks are figuring it out. We have the Vikings at the Steelers. I have the Steelers winning 30 to 17.
I have the Steelers winning 24-23.
All right, you can't keep copying me, okay? You're gonna try to keep it where it's even if you just pick all the same picks as me. Why don't you?
No.
Good. Commanders at Falcons, Bryce. Who are you gonna pick here?
Commanders at Falcons. I have Atlanta winning.
Oh, thank God we picked different.
I have Atlanta winning 27-23.
I have the Commanders taking this 24-21. I liked what I saw out of Marcus Mariota. I liked what I saw of their defense and their off and Jeremy Nichols. McNichols is it?
Jeremy McNichols is so good. Yeah.
Jeremy McNichols. They have a really strong tandem for their running backs, so I like what they have there. Bryce, Chargers at Giants.
I'm going to say this now. We're going to have a eulogy for the Giants after this game. I think the Chargers are going to win 34-10.
I This might be another early exit for us. Last time I went to a Giants game, it was the Buccaneers facing the Giants last year, and we left in the third quarter because it was just such a blowout. We might be doing the same thing here. Chargers at Giants. I have the Chargers winning 27 to 7. Bryce, Titans at Texans.
I have Houston finally getting their first win, and they're going to win 19-6. I still don't think Houston is a good team, but I do think they get in the win column this game.
I think this game is what tanks Houston's season, and I had the Titans winning 13 to 10.
Oh, wow.
Bryce, Eagles at Buccaneers, potential game of the week.
I think this is the game of the week. I have them winning. I have Philadelphia beating the Bucks 34-33.
Um, I have the Buccaneers winning this game 37 to 30. I believe this is a high scoring game. Two insanely good quarterbacks, in my opinion, two of the top 15 quarterbacks in the league, maybe top 10, dueling it out in Tampa Bay. So it's going to be a fun one. Bryce, Panthers at Patriots.
I have Carolina winning 25-19.
Sipping the Kool-Aid.
They won last week 30 to
Look,
0. So
I got the Patriots taking this 24-17. Bryce, Saints at Bills. Should we be making
I have
the gravestone for the Saints too?
I have Buffalo winning 27-23. I do think this game's going to be a lot closer, but I do think the Bills end up pulling it out and winning.
I have the Saints going to their worst loss of the season and losing 45-7.
Do you think they're going to lose worse than they did last week?
Oh wait, no, never mind. There's
They
not much.
lost 44 to 13 last week.
Yeah, I say 45-7. Bryce, Browns at Lions.
Cleveland's win was nice, but I think Detroit's going to win 45 to 9.
Just because I hate knowing my team lost to the Browns, I'm gonna go Browns 17-7. They're gonna hold back this insane offense and hold them to 7 points. I'm gonna be wrong. Bryce, Jaguars at 49ers.
I have San Francisco winning 27 to 14. Brock Purdy is expected to come back this week, so that's really going to help them.
You know,
Even if they don't, Mac Jones is still going to lead them to a win.
um, there's something about this Niners team that makes me really question them. And I think it's their offense. I think their offense looks just sluggish, either whether it's Mac Jones or it's Brock Purdy. But this Jaguars team is figuring it out. They're cohesive. Liam Cohen has them really moving well. I'm gonna give this to the Jags 23-20. It's gonna be a slugfest, a heavy defensive game, but give it to the Jags. Bryce, Colts at Rams.
Let me just preface this. I so wish I could go to this game, but I am a scare actor at the Queen Mary. That's why I lost my voice and I'm just getting back. But I have to be at the Queen Mary that night. So I'm going to miss it. But I do think the Colts win 38-31.
We have agreed. I believe the Colts take this, but it's 30-27, a very close game. Bryce, Bears head to Las Vegas and take on the Raiders.
I think Chicago continues their win streak, and I think they win 31 to 27.
I think last week was nice, but I like what Oakland is doing over there. I think
Vegas,
sorry, Vegas. Why am I struggling with that so much?
that's 2 weeks in a row now.
I like what Vegas is doing over there. I like Pete Carroll as a head coach, and I like Geno Smith. Give me the Raiders to win this 24-10. Bryce, another potential game of the week, Ravens at Chiefs.
Let me see. The Chiefs are going to, they kind of got complacent, even though they played an absolutely horrible game on Sunday. Let's be honest, their game on Sunday against the Giants was terrible. But I do think the Ravens are going to be angry, and I think they're going to win. They're going to beat the Chiefs 34 to 17.
Yeah, we saw what happened last time the Ravens played pissed off when they took on the Browns' outstanding defense and put up what 40 on them.
30, yeah, it's like what, 41 to 10 or something.
I do have the Ravens winning this one. It's going to be a tight game. They always play each other hard. I have the Ravens going winning 27-24.
The Chiefs offense is one of the worst offenses the NFL's seen in the
They're,
last 10 years.
I think they'll figure it out. The fact that they only put up 22 on this Giants team makes me nervous, but the Ravens defense has been so bad. I think I can see them putting up 24 at least. So this next game, I want to dive a little bit into. We have the return game, the revenge game. Micah Parsons and the Packers take on Jerry Jones and the Cowboys in Dallas. I do believe the Packers win this game 30-10. I believe Micah Parsons has 2.5 sacks. Jordan Love throws for 3 touchdowns and 250. And we see Dak benched by halftime. Not for anything he did. It's just that they're hitting him and he's throwing picks.
I think that I kind of was too generous with the Cowboys. I have the Packers winning. I have them winning 31-19. This game's not going to be close. Micah Parsons will take Dak Prescott's head off, and he will take Joe Milton's head off. And I don't know who their third string quarterback is going to be, but he's going to take his head off too.
Micah
Micah
Parsons,
Parsons may end up with 10 sacks alone in this game.
Micah Parsons is going to have a Shawn Michaels moment where he says like "I love you" before super kicking Ric Flair. He's going to have that with Dak Prescott. He said it's going to feel so sad to sack Dak Prescott. That means he feels so confident that he's going to get a sack that he's already thinking about when he takes him down. I would not be surprised if this is one of the greatest defensive games we've ever seen.
We saw it with Luka with the Mavs, where Luka went off against the Mavs, and now we're going to see another iteration of
Luka did that.
this
What was that in Dallas or in LA?
in both.
Yeah, this green.
No, wait, he did it in the game where they gave him the tribute. He dropped like 50 and a triple double on
It
the
is like,
Mavs.
and you know what's nice about this? Like, this could have been in Green Bay. That means this is where he goes back to Dallas. This is going to be the most watched game of the week, 100%.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
a much less firepower inducing game, Bryce, is the Jets at the Dolphins. Who you have winning this?
I have the Jets winning 29-21.
Hmm.
I
We're agreeing.
Miami is terrible. Miami is a bad team. They are bad. Tua is Tua cannot play football in the fourth quarter. He can't. He doesn't know how to. He doesn't.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see an 0-4 Miami Dolphins, which I'm predicting. I have the Jets winning this 24-7. I think it's a nice bounce back game for Justin Fields. Comes back, has a rushing touchdown and a passing touchdown, and Tua just continues his struggling. Bryce, final game of the week, and then we'll let you save your voice for the Queen Mary. Bengals head to the Broncos.
I have Denver winning 34-17. I don't think this game is going to be particularly close. Cincinnati has proven that they are not a good defense still, and their offense is not good without Joe Burrow. They're not.
This
They're not good.
This will be the game that gets Jake Browning loses his starting job. The Bengals are going to be facing one of the best defenses in the league with the reigning defense player of the year, who is a cornerback, by the way. The reason I say that is because I think Jake Browning is in for even more interceptions. I would not be surprised if Desmond Ritter enters this game at some point. I believe
Well, the
that's
second
Desmond Ritter.
quarterback, the second string is Brett Rippon.
Oh,
Desmond Ritter's
sorry.
on their practice squad.
Then I wouldn't be surprised if Brett Rippon comes in this game at some point. I have the Broncos winning this 30-10. They're due for a bounce back game, and they're due for a game where they dominate. So give me the Broncos taking this one. They're gonna be
Correction,
pissed off.
I'm wrong. Desmond Ritter's their third string quarterback because they have Trevor Simeon and Sean Clifford on their practice squad.
I wouldn't be surprised if it gets so bad that Desmond Ritter's in the game at some point. Bryce, we've officially made it through all the week four predictions.
Yep.
You'll be keeping track of how bad and how good and how badly we do. We'll be keeping track of that all season, but we also want you guys to keep track of what you're picking. This is kind of fun for us, and overall, we're going to try to continue doing this whole thing in general. Uh,
Honestly, I thought once three started the way it did, that you were going to dominate me.
yeah, I thought so too. I was like, I think I'm about to have a crazy good week, and
I
then it
thought it was going to be the
all.
opposite way, where you were going to be 12-4, and I was going to be
Yeah,
6-10.
I felt really good, and then things just started going worse and worse. I got to stop picking against Philly, is what I'm noticing. The fact that you're picking Philly and I'm picking not picking them is very odd. But
And I'm a Philly hater.
I have a hard time picking against my boy Baker, looking like an MVP candidate this year.
Yeah.
But that is all for us this week, guys. We finished a little early. Um, be sure to like and comment, subscribe. Go check Bryce out on all of his social medias. That will be in the description. Check out mine
Yes.
as well. You can catch Bryce on TikTok, Twitter, at X, whatever it's called, Twitch, pretty much any social media there is, Bryce is on it. Catch me on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. But we will catch you guys in the next one. Enjoy some football this week. Peace.
Peace.